I hope you got a cuppa ready because it is time to go through the little acts of decluttering for December. Hello, my name's Rachel. I do videos about decluttering, minimalism and my no spend year, and I have come up with little acts of decluttering that I share every month to help you declutter different areas in your home. And I've even written a book about it, and I'll show you briefly. I have the little acts of decluttering book that tells you a little bit about each of the areas to declutter, and there's checklists in there. And I also have a diary. If you're thinking that 2024 is your year for decluttering, then I have mapped out all the little acts of decluttering in a planner for you in a diary form so that you can be able to tick them off on your monthly calendar. And that's that one. So these are both available on Amazon. So I just think they're a really great way of supporting your decluttering. And I don't want to talk about that for too long because I want to get straight into the little acts of decluttering and how you can work through each area. So I'll try and give some more details about how you can work through problems and problem solve and strategies that you can use with some of those more difficult areas. There are 31 days in the month, so let's start obviously with day one. So for the 1st of December, the most logical one I could think of would be Christmas decorations. It's about the time that everybody's getting them out, and you need to think about what you used last year and maybe in previous years and what you want to use this year. Are there any that don't suit your theme? Because this is a good time of year to kind of package up all the ones that you don't want and sell them as a job lot for somebody else that would be able to make use of them this year. So think about whether or not you're really going to use them. So you might want to be able to keep maybe sentimental ones and have it as a sentimental tree with different ones that you collect each year. This is something that I do with my son. We have a kind of unwritten rule that we kind of buy maybe one Christmas decoration each year, and we kind of build that into our design of the tree. So I don't really have an overcomplicated tree. I use the same ornaments every year and the same decorations every year. I keep it really simplistic. I'll show that to you when I get round to putting them up, but we are not in December yet, so I'm not there. I will do it on the 1st probably, or the 2nd, the next weekend. For the 2nd of December, I want you to have a look through your shed and see if you've got any spare materials that you don't really use. This is just kind of an opportunity to go through and see if there's any bits that you are likely to use or not likely to use. Get everything out. The best way, if you've got quite a big collection of stuff, and the shed is one of those places where you might be hoarding different tools, different pieces of materials, get everything out, lay it out, put it in their categories, and then see how much you've got in each category, and really think about whether or not you are actually going to do that job that involves those materials. If it's a just in case item, are you actually going to use it? Is it likely to be used in the next 12 months? If you're thinking not in the next 12 months, that's a long time to keep a material and try and keep it in good condition. Remember, materials will deteriorate if they're not looked after. So if you're cramming everything in a shed that is not maybe watertight or airtight and it's going to get potential damage, then you're not really benefiting by keeping it when somebody else could use it. So it could be that you package it all up and try and sell it as a job lot, or you just take it to your recycle centre. For the 3rd of December, you need to see if you can try and clear your console tables. This is just the tables that are around, like in the hallway maybe. You might have a console table or a sideboard in like the library. Who has a library? I would love a library. You might have one in your dining area, is what I meant to say. I'd love a library. It's on my wish list. Clear your consoles, because actually if you can clear some of the visual clutter, and these are surfaces that you're going to see all the time, especially if you're in your library, you're going to see them and you're going to see that clutter, and it's going to create like mini stress triggers. So clearing them is a really good way. See if there's a way you can store stuff within the unit, or decide whether or not you really need to keep them. If you do want to have things on display on the console tables, you could get some trays that kind of contain it into an area that is still more visually appealing. So you could have something like, I've got these little trays. You could find something a bit nicer. You could have like a little woven basket or something. That would be a really good strategy for making it look nice but still having things out so that it's easy access. So that's an option if you're trying to minimise getting rid or minimise what is on display. For the 4th of December, do you have any old or random remote controls that you don't know what is used for, or they don't really get used because you've got a universal one that goes with all? Do you need them? Is there a way that you could declutter them by maybe taking them to a cycle centre? If you know that you've got working remotes that you can use, do you need any spare? For the 5th of December, I have chosen chairs. Two ideas here. It could be that you might be one of those people that are guilty of piling things up, maybe clothes, on your chair in your bedroom or downstairs. It might be a dumping ground. Could you try and get in the habit of clearing it so that you don't have things stored on there and you can actually use it as a seat? Or the other thought is that you can see if you have too many chairs. Do you have more than you need? Have you got spare dining chairs that you don't really use? These items are just taking up valuable space and they are worth a little bit of money. So see if you can make some money from doing that. It will just free up some good space in your home. It could be that you're storing them in the garage. Have a look round, see what you have that you don't need. If you're enjoying this video so far, don't forget to hit subscribe down below and press the bell for the notification so that you can know when my next video is coming along. For the 6th of December, do you have any spare bins that you don't really need? Do you have more bins than you need in your house? I've got quite a small house, so I tend to have them just in the bathroom and just in the kitchen because it's just easier for me to just walk and put it in the bin. If I had another bin in the lounge, it's another bin to empty, and it just creates, for me, it creates a lazy attitude. I end up just shoving things in there and then it becomes another thing I have to then empty. If I put it straight in the bin, then I've kind of already dealt with those things. For the 7th of December, have you got a full drawer that is bursting at the seams that you could go through and try and reduce down? It could be that you've got a drawer full of tops. I have definitely got a drawer that I need to go through. The best thing to do is with that is to get everything out of that drawer, get the drawer out, empty it out maybe on a surface either on the floor or on your bed or on the table. Get everything out and put it in their categories and then see if there's a way that you can reduce down what you have. In my drawer that I'm going to look at, I have got loads of long sleeve tops and short sleeve tops and I think underwear in that one drawer. I need to reduce down my tops so that I can actually store them in there correctly. So I'm going to have to go through and see if there are any that I don't use and don't reach for, because I know I've bought some new thermal tops and actually that means I'm not reaching for those others. So I do need to go through that. So think about which ones you reach for, which things do you not actually go for. Ask yourself those questions as you're going through, because actually there'll be some items in there that aren't really being utilised. For the 8th of December, it's time to go through the alcohol cupboard or maybe a bar area that you might have. Do you need any of it? Could you donate it to somebody else that might use it if it's not something to your liking? I've got a few bits of alcohol, a few bottles, but I don't drink, so actually I do need to start going through that and seeing if I can pass it on to somebody that will be able to enjoy it. Obviously you've got to be quite responsible with that one and think about who you're giving it to. It is worth taking away some of those temptations if you're finding that tricky around this time of year, so that's something to bear in mind. For the 9th of December, do you have any footstools that are not being utilised within your home? Perhaps they're taking up some room in your living room or dining room area. Do you need them? Are you utilising them? Do they work well for you? Do they have storage? Think about whether or not you actually use them and whether or not you need to keep them. For the 10th of December, can you set a 10-minute timer and see how much you can declutter in that time? This could be anywhere within your home, and it could be that you find any number of items. It could be that you do it with the whole family. You could get everybody going at the beginning of the 10 minutes and see who can get the most items that they want to declutter or maybe donate. So that's a way that you could get the family involved too. For the 11th of December, could you go through any serving dishes that you might have? This is a great time to look ahead of Christmas as to which items you used last year that you use for parties or events and whether or not you are likely to use them this year. Now's a good time to sell or donate them to charity shops ahead of the Christmas holiday period. For the 12th of December, can you get in the habit of making sure that you recycle any leaflets or flyers that you don't need as soon as they come through the door. So make an assessment straight away. It's that kind of touch only once rule of just dealing with things as soon as they come in. So go through any flyers that you might have been storing in some drawers. Do you need them? Is it information that you can get online? Because if that's the case, then you don't necessarily need to keep the flyer. So go through them and recycle what you can. For the 13th of December, can you go through any base layer tops or thermals that you have? It's good to reflect on what it is you're using. Have you bought yourself new ones, and do you have some old ones that you don't really need? Think about whether or not you need to keep them anymore, or whether or not they could be donated. For the 14th of December, do you have any dried flowers that you're not utilising? Do you have some areas that are using them but you don't really feel like it fits the area? So see if you can sell them or donate them. They are good items to try and sell because people do really enjoy dried flowers. I know that I find them much easier than real life flowers, so I do quite like a dried flower. So it is worth considering donating or selling. For the 15th of December, can you go through any travel adapters that you have? It is really worth checking how long you've had them and whether or not they are still safe. Check that they've got the right coding for current guidelines for electrical items. You don't want anything that is going to risk a fire, so just make sure that it's still safe to use. And if you've got too many, see if you can donate them or sell them. For the 16th of December, can you find 15 items to declutter from your home? When it's a biggish number like 15, you might want to work in an area where there are lots of things. So it could be that you work in the kitchen and you find 15 items within some cupboards and maybe the food cupboards, or it could be that you look at stationery. That's always got lots of items within it. So that's a good one to think about. So have a look and see if you can find 15 items. There's no time limit on that, so you can do anywhere that you like in your home, but it's 15 items. You could split that with your family. So if there's 3 of you, you could find 5 items each within your own rooms. That might be a way to do it as well. For the 17th of December, do you have any extension leads that are not being used? Again, you want to think about safety here. Are they safe? Are they ones that spark when you put a plug in? If they are, then it's time to let that go. Just check that they're safe and meeting standards, and if you're not using them, you don't need to keep them. For the 18th of December, do you have any old pet medicine? So think about your pet supplies, and you just want to make sure that you haven't got anything that's out of date. It's not going to be safe for your pet, so just go through that category if you have anything. For the 19th of December, have a look through pet accessories. So maybe look at toys and different bits and pieces that you might have gained when you got your new pet, maybe bedding and things like that. And for the 20th of December, can you go through pet leads and collars you might have? It might be that you have some old collars that you haven't got round to throwing away, or it might be that you tried out some different leads when you first got your pet and actually you only like one of them, so the others aren't really being utilised. So go through those and see what you use. For the 21st of December, do you have any watering cans in your garden or in your shed that are not being used? Have you got a collection, or have you just got one that is dying, it's on its last legs, that isn't quite watering as it should do, or the top falls off? Get rid of anything that isn't serving a purpose for you and just keep one so that you've got one to be able to use. For the 22nd of December, have you got any garden hoses or sprinklers that are not being used? Maybe you got a new one and didn't quite get around to getting rid of the old one. Go through what you have in the shed and take anything you don't use to the recycle centre. For the 23rd of December, do you have any tote bags that are not being used? These are great ones to store in the car for when you go shopping. It could be that you have a little stash in the car, but do you have more than you need? How many is reasonable for you? And get rid of any that might be broken or damaged so that you have got good working tote bags ready to use. For the 24th of December, can you go through any art supplies that you might have? Be realistic about what is still in good condition. Have you got any paints that have dried up that you can't use anymore? Have you got any brushes that are not fixable, that have dried, that you can't repair? Go through it and declutter anything that is not working for you. For the 25th of December, Merry Christmas. Today I want you to check your walking boots and your wellies. Just check that they are in good condition, and if you've got more than you need, or you've got some sizes that don't fit your children anymore, go through them and get rid of them. Go through them and declutter what you don't need. For the 26th of December, can you find 15 items to declutter from your home? It could be that you're using that as an opportunity to get rid of any cardboard or wrapping paper. Go through any bits that are needing a sort out. It could be that this is a great time to clear out some stuff in your room while you've got some time off maybe. Go through and find 15 items. For the 27th of December, this is a harsh one, but have you got any unwanted gifts? Be realistic about what it is you're going to use, and if you're not likely to use them, could you donate them on or pass them on to somebody else? For the 28th of December, go through any coupons or gift cards that you might have. Great opportunity to use them up during the sales. Get in the habit of making sure that you don't let any expire and get the most out of them. For the 29th of December, have you got any toiletries that you don't like? Maybe you don't like the smell of them, the perfume, or maybe they don't sit nicely or they irritate your skin. See if you can go through them and be realistic about what you will use. For the 30th of December, do you have any expired food in your food cupboards? Really good to go through this one regularly. I try and do it maybe once a month and just check in my cupboards as to what needs using up soon so that nothing goes to waste. And for the 31st of December, can you fill a donation box with items to donate to a charity? This could be clothes, it could be toys, it could be books. Make a collection of stuff that you don't need anymore and try and fill a box and then schedule to take that to a charity shop. So that is the 31 days of little acts of decluttering for December. Hopefully I've given you some ideas about how to work through some of those areas, and some of them obviously speak for themselves. But don't forget, if you want some more advice on that, I do share a PDF calendar which will be on my website, declutteryourlife.co.uk, and I also share the little acts of decluttering on my social media channels on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. So if you want the daily reminders, they are there for you to follow. So don't forget to hit subscribe and let me know how you're getting on with your decluttering. And don't forget to make sure that you click the bell for notifications so that you can see when I've got new videos coming up. And I shall be back for more videos soon. Take care. Bye.